Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out, backstage rumors, dramas, all the behind the curtain stuff. We also talk about superstar contract obligations and updates and negotiations amongst promotions like WWE, AEW, GCW, NWA, New Japan Professional Wrestling. Basically, if it makes headline news in the world of wrestling, it's here on this show. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We have a pretty awesome show jam packed for you today. But before we get into that, today is a Wednesday. Hope you guys had a great Wednesday. Middle of the week is all it's always good. Next tomorrow's Thursday Night Football. Hope you guys are kind of pumped up for that. Who's playing? Damn it, the Dolphins, and I can't believe I can't remember. But I guess I guess it's supposed to be a good game, so it's going to be interesting to find out. If the Dolphins can prove what happened on Sunday wasn't a fluke at all. But only time will tell. But anyways, so we got a pretty awesome wrestling show for you today, guys. We have our WWE NXT review. Then we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. And then we're going to talk about 9/11. Obviously, today, 13 years ago, tragedy struck in New York, the World Trade Centers, the flights and the Pentagon and all that. Just a very heartbreaking day overall, for the average day in the life of an American that day. It was pretty shocking. I remember I was 9 years old. And it was moving stuff. It was crazy. It was sad. Obviously, prayers and thoughts and condolences still to the families of people, victims, the first responders, and basically everybody involved. So we're gonna get into how there was a WWE SmackDown that aired 2 days after, and it was like It was like absolutely, it wasn't. A lot of people thought WWE would have never kind of pulled it off. But overall, we'll get into it. We'll get into it later. It's still kind of, so when you talk about it, it still kind of, strikes you a little bit. But our fourth segment, we're going to talk about AEW possibly going to Fox. WWE's, they just had their final episode on SmackDown on Fox. So, now SmackDown's going to the USA Network. Then on our fifth and final segment, every Wednesday we do it. We have my Wednesdays weekly wrestling news. We talk about all the major breaking news in terms of professional wrestling. So let's get on into that. But before we do, I want to remind you guys to hit up that super chat, whether if you've got a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, or just something you're dying to get off your chest. Remember, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are absolutely all ears all the time. The show is all about keeping the conversation lively, keeping the party going, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy and drop those thoughts and questions inside the chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed on air, why not use that super chat? It's that $ below that chat box right there. And send in your message. It's guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support us, the GSMC Sports Network, and bring even more awesome sports content. We are absolutely, first and foremost, thank you guys for everything. We are so grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever with your guys' support and interaction. And if the super chat, is not your thing, you can always hit up the GSMCpodcast.net, hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, concerns. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your opinions in terms of professional wrestling. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. But overall, feedback is gift. So, remember just to, send us your feelings. Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show and follow the network. All right, so we're going to get on into some WWE NXT talk. First, we're going to start off with the tag team championship match. Nathan Fraser and Axiom, the supersonic duo. I'm not pretty sure that's not how you pronounce it, but anyways, they fought the Street Profits. Obviously, it was revealed later on in NXT why exactly Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz couldn't go for their much-deserved title shot. It was because Wesley, had something to do with it. Darn you, Wesley, to destroy an instant classic. But this match was actually an instant classic, and it was destroyed by outside interference. The Bloodline showed up with, Jacob Fatu, Tungaloa, Tamatonga, and to be honest, I thought it was a great fast-paced athletic match. It was kind of a shame to see interrupted. I honestly, what's the Bloodline's business inside NXT? I'm not too sure, but overall, I thought for a second it was a little bit of a bad spot. Like I get it. I get the fact that you're trying to show fans that these guys are the ultimate, badasses and these guys are gonna be like, running their own show. WWE belongs to the bloodline, so to speak. But I don't know. There's just the match, the way the match was going, I was like, I would have loved to see that match kind of end cleanly. Would love to see these two teams go at it once again. But moving on, we have Chelsea Green taking on the debuting Julia from superstardom, from New Japan Professional Wrestling. So all in all, it was a pretty impressive chat. I gotta be honest, 1,010%. Chelsea Green has kind of been, it's kind of been changed to a glorified jobber. She still put up a decent match. She was fighting back, and it was. I felt kind of bad for Chelsea all in all, but she did show some spots where she was able to, stay vigilant. She was able to participate in the match. She was able to hit some spots and show, you know, kind of the WWE universe that, still she lost. Yeah, she did lose in Julia's debut, but overall, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I got a chat right here from Little Fettuccine 68. Is The Rock showing up on Friday? I think he is. I think he is. The Rock is kind of going to be. The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to stay on SmackDown. We're going to get into that actually in my wrestling news roundup. But definitely he's going to be, SmackDown was his show. Overall, like I feel like they created SmackDown like The Rock, started, laying the SmackDown on your candy, on your jabronis. So I thought overall, having him as like the main star in SmackDown, he was there for the first episode when when they debuted on Fox. So, I think he's going to be there. I really honestly think so. Maybe he finds a way to help Solo Sikoa defeat Cody Rhodes. Maybe that's a big ass maybe, but I don't know. I think that'd be actually pretty cool. Next, we have the Heritage Cup Championship match. We got Charlie Dempsey of the Quarter Catch Crew taking on that boy Bouncy, Javon Evans, the young OG. In the first round, the first pin was by Dempsey in the second round. Javon Evans in the third round got his first pin. So we had 1-1, and then of course something had to happen. Tavion Heights comes back from Japan, and he ultimately just destroys Javon Evans' chance of being Heritage Cup champion. It was a little depressing. I kind of, I knew he wasn't going to win. I knew Javon Evans wasn't going to win, but overall, I thought maybe it could have been, better spot. Obviously, now you kind of have the no quarter catch crew in full swing, especially after the departure of Drew Gulak. I kind of thought that the no quarter catch crew was kind of DOA. But, it shows that Sean likes him around. They were a pretty good team, Um, but I don't know. It should be pretty interesting to find out who's going to challenge for the cup next. I would like to see like a TNA superstar do it, but that's just me. Boba Femi had a mystery opponent, and it was the TNA's Hammerstone. This guy came out looking absolutely jacked. He was paid by Tony D'Angelo to kind of take care of the Boba Femi problem of the family, but to no avail. Right now, the NXT North American champion Oba Femi is definitely one of the best wrestlers in WWE. I mean, SmackDown, Raw, even on TNA. I'm just kidding. No. Well, yeah, you know what? He's great. He's great. He hasn't really been showing signs of slowing down, losing that North American championship. I personally think he is going to beat Wesley's reign, which would be actually pretty cool. But a lot of people see him going to Monday Night Raw. A lot of people see him making the jump to SmackDown to a bigger brand. I'm kind of, there's, there's been a lot of rumors stating that there's going to be a WWE draft that's happening. That's going to happen before, obviously, Netflix steals Monday Night Raw from Fox. I'm just kidding. No, Netflix steals, Raw, and USA Network takes SmackDown. And I think overall it should be well, new drafted again, especially with Netflix. I was talking about how it's going to be on my news segment and my fifth segment, but WWE is currently going to pull The Rock and Roman Reigns from Netflix. They're not going to be on Monday Night Raw, and that's kind of a big deal. I feel like Netflix felt comfortable. Like I've kind of mentioned on this show before, like you're kind of getting Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You're getting a free not free because obviously you do have that contract with WWE, but you don't really have to pay from an outside source like, oh, The Rock is starring in a brand new TV series and oh my God, Netflix would love to have it. So essentially you get WWE and for a bonus you get The Rock and then you get Roman Reigns as well. So, obviously, that's going to I don't know if that's going to affect their dealio moving forward, but I think up until they finish their plans with WrestleMania 41, and then that's probably when you're going to see the jump onto Monday Night Raw by The Rock and Roman Reigns. But okay, and moving on, Rich Holland easily, defeating Duke Hudson. Rich Holland dominated the match, made a statement after the match, and completely killing Chase U. But a little small spotlight on my girl Thea Hale. She looked absolutely brokenhearted, and the way she was like inside, the way she was like her acting skills is immaculate, man. Can you see this girl go to Hollywood? Maybe, like I don't know. She looked devastated, like it was so real. I was like, dude, that's because when you watch as a wrestling fan, obviously, you know the T and all that, and you're just watching, and you're like, damn, that's actually, pretty believable. You know what I mean? Pretty believable. Moving on, we got Jordynne Grace's Open Challenge. Gotta be honest, I was not expecting Sol Ruca. I would have rather seen, and I love Sol Ruca. I think she's an amazing superstar, very talented. Inside the ring, she's on her cues all the time. She does the right moves. She protects her opponents, but at the same time, propels them and makes them look good based on her own performance. So I do love Sol Ruca. I kind of thought she was going to be the inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion. Obviously, Keilani Jordan's doing a fantastic job of that as well. So, not really, no one's losing in that kind of matter. But Jada Parker, now, she's fatal influence. She needs Lola Vice. That's going to kind of consume their storylines for a little bit. So I guess in a way, the thing that did make sense was Sol Ruca. I personally thought maybe Natalia was going to, jump ship to NXT and kind of come in a little bit. She, last TNA on Thursday, she did face Carmen Petrovic, who was trained by Natalia. Well, according to kayfabe, it could be true. Maybe it could be true. Don't quote me on that, but fact check that. Anyways, The Miz also is set to be on NXT on October 1st. So that should be kind of cool. Rosemary and Wendy Chu interrupted the match between Jordynne Grace and Sol Ruca. Kind of crazy, but we all kind of saw that coming. You saw a promo with Tatum Paxley and Lyra Valkyria with Tatum playing with dolls, and I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was, I don't know. I love Lyra Valkyria, how serious she is, and I love how dorky and how, weird this whole Tatum Paxley angle is, going. So I like that. Lastly, we have the last man standing match. Last man standing match. Trick Williams defeats Pete Dunne in dramatic fashion. He came up from the count while backflipping all ego Ethan Page, the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, through the announce table. I thought that was pretty cool. They got a they got a chant like that, which is always great to get the WWE Universe into that. So whenever you have that, you get a pretty good last man standing match. For me, I feel like I'm a huge Attitude Era kind of guy. I feel like maybe they took a little too long to initiate and to kind of, include weapons or introduce weapons inside the match. But overall, they did. And I thought Trick did a really good job. I loved what Pete was doing. I loved how he's a great wrestler. 1010%. I feel like he still does have a high, performance check that he could possibly be in NXT, maybe in the United States champion or the Intercontinental champion. But overall, it was a great NXT. It was very, the built up when it first started. I was like, dude, this is crazy because it did feature some championship matches. Kind of felt like a small PLE. But to be honest, I feel like NXT does that very, very well. Including title matches on a week to week basis, making every week seem like a must watch. So yeah. All right, next we're gonna get into AEW Dynamite. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite segment is coming your way, so do not go anywhere.